Heineken Regatta takes place in early March every year. St. Martin is a unique island located in the West Indies, as two independent countries inhabit this small space. One side is Dutch, the other side is French. 2/3 of the boats entered are chartered bareboats. Quite a few are good for racing. Sailors wishing to escape the cold northern winters need only fly down for a long weekend, charter a bareboat, and enjoy the warm sun and friendly competition the Heineken Regatta offers. A traditional race party follows the skippers' meeting the night before the race at the St. Martin Yacht Club. Race 1 starts in Philipsburg on the Dutch side, with a short beat to windward, then a long reach with a jibe mark, and more reaching, with a long beat back to Marigot Bay on the French side of St. Martin. The Heineken Regatta was started in 1980 by a few local yachtsmen and St. Martin Yacht Club members. It got its name by the local Heineken distributor throwing in several cases of beer. A few years later, word spread to other Caribbean islands and the regatta started growing. In the last few years, word spread even further. Now the Heineken Regatta has grown into a world-class event. Down at the jibe mark, all the classes seem to converge at once. The beach cats manage to easily maneuver around the bigger boats at the jibe mark. Local skipper Paul Dealsmans takes a shortcut through a break in the reef at the end of the island. Knowing the local waters has its advantages. Visiting skippers would never risk such danger. His Hobie 33 isn't as fast upwind as his rival Howard Palmer on Red Boat Immigrant. Immigrant is old, but is a lot faster this year with its new set of sails. Immigrant is a modified IOR boat and rates well. Race 1 ends in the French town of Marigot. We talked to the crew of Immigrant. It appears that they have won the race.
Were you on the money on the start today?
Today, actually, we won the start. We were a little concerned at first. The pin seemed to be getting closer and closer, and the time was not moving. But Mike did a great job on the start today. I think we pretty much won the start. When we did the tack, we had half a dozen boat lengths on the closest boat to us. So.
Okay, so what are we gonna do tomorrow?
We're gonna win again.
Some are racing in the regatta for the first time. Experiencing mechanical problems can be frustrating. Yet this couple remains optimistic about what they went through today.
Race, hydraulics, we had to stop and recharge the hydraulic system, so we had to sail into the emergency tiller. We got a late start.
We had to find all the emergency tillers.
Midway through the race, one of the dinghy davits broke. The front of the dinghy fell in the water. We had to stop and repair that scenario. And then towards the end of the race, the roller furling would not work. We could not pull in the head sail, so we spent half an hour at the end of the race trying to roll that thing in. It's still not rolling correctly, but hey, we'll have it all repaired.
A soca band gets the after-race party going in the little French town of Marigot. It looks like everybody's having a good time. The next morning brings race 2. The weather is perfect and the Caribbean sun is shining. The wind is about 12 knots. What makes the Heineken Regatta interesting is the diversification of boats racing. Heavy displacement boats can test their speed against the newer, more radical designs that show up here. This Atlantic 50, named Out of the Blue, has twin rudders, a wide hull aft and a narrow bow. It appears to point upwind very well. Big monohulls and big multi-hulls racing on the same course keeps traditional sailors on their toes. This cruising cat is as big as a house. Ripped sails are part of the game. Bareboat companies should make sure their charter companies supply extra sails before they enter the regatta. An all-girl team is sponsored by Guava Berry Liquors, a local St. Martin company. The girls are from the U.S., England, South Africa, and the Caribbean, and are serious competition in bareboat class. The downwind leg is a long one. This gives crews a bit of time to relax. Out of the blue, the French Atlantic 50 hourglasses her spinnaker. The crew clears up the foul up easily, and Out of the Blue accelerates again. Equinox powers ahead. Equinox is a Freres 55 and is a regular in all the Caribbean regattas. Immigrant is getting ready for a spinnaker takedown. The mark is coming up fast. Howard Palmer, the owner, has a new skipper on board, Mike Green. Mike is a world-class winning laser sailor. The bigger boats round up, the wind increases, and the fleet hardens up to beat back to the finish line. The beat back to the finish line is in flat water, in the lee of the island. The wind is 12 to 15 knots. Alan Barris on 4-lane had a surprise just minutes from the finish line. Apparently his port shroud gave way and his whole rig came toppling down. It's an expensive day for Alan. Hugh Bailey's Hugo also had problems and had to put a man up the mast to retrieve a snapped jib halyard. The all-girl team also had problems.
Papa, where's your skipper?
Our skipper is at the top of the mast at the moment.
All right.
She's running a new main halyard and she's letting down the jib because we broke the bottom strap on the jib.
Okay, so when did this happen today?
3/4 of the way through the race.
We talked to Howard Palmer, owner of Immigrant.
Yeah, we got 2 seconds today. There was 2 races for the racing classes today, and we managed to get 2 seconds. So we're pretty happy with ourselves. We got to windward really well, which is why we're looking forward to tomorrow, because a lot of the fast boats here, the Hobie 33s, the local boats, are really fast off the wind. But tomorrow we've got a really long beat, and we're looking forward to sort of showing them a clean set of heels and getting around the island real quick.
In the morning, we talked to Bernard Seelam, a beach cat racer. Bernard tells us about how he prepares for the regatta and what's involved.
The wetsuit. Wetsuits, again, cold and also again the sun.
This is a wetsuit. Now, how do you get out there?
How wet? Stay quite dry. The only wetness comes inside when you are walking. You transpire. How do you call that? Transpire. And for that reason, when we get out the wetsuit, we are completely wet, and this is a good reason to take a shower when we finish.
Right.
Spectacles, good spectacles. Again the sun, and also again the water. They have to be closed all around the eyes. When the water has been dried on the spectacles, and to clean them a little bit, the best is to put them in the water, and then the salt go out, and you put it. That's it.
Okay, so you're ready to go, huh?
Not really. The last thing is to have something on the head. T-shirt around the head, like that. A little bit at the back.
Great.
I think I'm ready. Oh yes, another thing are the shoes, special shoes.
Shoes or no shoes, it's time for the last race. Race 4 is an around the island race with a long course for racing class. For the last race, the wind is up and gusting today, 18 to 25 knots. The beach cats are traveling like rockets. The big boats are broaching. Spinnakers are getting difficult to handle, even for experienced racers. Eagle, a big cat, capsized and catapulted her crew through the air.